everybody, and welcome to our YouTube channel, Relationship Builders Forum. My name is Amara.
And my name is Gospel.
And if you are new on our channel, you're joining us for the first time, we want to bid you welcome, and we want to kindly ask that you click the subscribe button and the bell next to it, so when we put content out, to all our returning subscribers, it's always a joy to have you.
So today we'll be talking about overcoming life challenges. We know that life is challenges. Sometimes the challenges could come in our relationship, it could be in our finances. We have challenges on our job or at work, even challenges sometimes in our health. But the thing is, how do you deal with these challenges when they come? How do you circumvent them? How do you navigate them? How do you overcome them to stay afloat, to be positive, to be the best you ought to be?
Let me say that none of us in this world, as long as we are still breathing oxygen, is immune from challenges. Challenges, I would say, is a part of life. Life in itself is laced with challenges. You know, sometimes highs and lows, and I would say that it's something that we should all embrace.
Yeah.
Because if we look at challenges as a part of life, it will be easier how we navigate challenges and challenging situations. I think the problem that we tend to have is that we see challenges as being foreign. We see challenges as something that is not supposed to happen to me. And you feel that is somebody else's cup of tea. It's not supposed to be my cup of tea. If we see that this is something that we all have to go through, I think the disposition towards how we embrace it, towards how we approach it, will be very different.
Bearing in mind that challenges are part of life, what we need to embrace, like you pointed out, how then do we overcome them? Which is why we are doing this, to share some of the things we feel that could help you to navigate challenging times. One of those is that you need to stay positive and you need to maintain a growth mindset. You need to see challenges as things that you can overcome, that you have the capacity to deal with these challenges. Bearing in mind that challenges are part of life and we need to embrace it, knowing very well that it happens to everyone, like you said, we are looking at ways we can deal with these challenges when they come. One of which is we need to stay positive. We need to maintain that positive disposition when challenges come. I know it's difficult to say stay positive when challenges happen to you, but I need you to understand that when you see yourself as one who has the capacity to deal with challenges, who has the capacity to overcome challenges, and who knows that you know very well that challenges are not something that is isolated. It's not just you facing challenges. Everyone at every level is faced with challenges. Then that helps you to have resilience. That helps you to have this positivity that whatever comes my way, I can handle it.
Let me add by saying that for you to go through challenges is actually a privilege. I know some of you might be wondering, like, what is she talking about? Like, what is this thing? It's a privilege because if you don't encounter challenges, how do you know that you're growing? You know, every child experiences challenges at every point in their growth, a milestone in terms of their growth. They experience one form of challenge or the other. And it's about us understanding that we are growing in that process. You know, understand that you have the capacity. You can actually deal with the challenges. Because one of the things we found that is that a lot of people don't even believe in themselves that they have got the capacity to focus and manage this challenge. And that in itself is you setting up yourself to fail. You know, you need to have a growth mindset. Fine, I'm faced with this challenge. What do I need to do? You know, I have the resources, or I will think about the resources that would help me to navigate these challenges. And I think it's really important for us to embrace that and understand that in us lies that ability to overcome any challenge whatsoever.
Yes, let me give an example. If you've had a broken relationship and you feel, oh, my world is finished, I love this person, I have believed in this relationship, and now it's all over. Two things you would do. Wallow in self-pity and think, oh, this is the worst that could happen to me. Or you could see this as an opportunity for you to reinvent yourself, work on yourself, and look forward to the best relationship out there. In the process of dealing with that heartbreak, you become more emotionally mature, you become more resilient. You learn a lot in terms of yourself, how you're able to deal with issues when they happen, and that could also place you in a position where you would be able to attract the right quality or the right kind of person in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You've got this. You can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And just add to what you're saying about navigating challenges and staying positive. Some people feel that positivity is just someone being goofy.
Not facing reality.
This person is not real. This person is not real. Sometimes when people say not other people are not being real, I think it's just an excuse to stay negative, and just wallow in self-pity and just feel bad. Look, we all have good days. We all have challenging days. But it's not an excuse for us to stay there. We need to recreate our words by our words. What are you speaking into your day? Because that's also part of being positive. You have to speak those words, speak those things, and they become. And not just you speaking it, you also need to have the right attitude to match those words. You have to also have the right actions to match those words and just walk towards navigating that rather than staying there. Because staying there doesn't solve the problem. Feeling bad doesn't solve the problem. And let me also say that I'm not trying to discount that you can't feel bad. Of course you feel bad. But you don't have to stay there feeling bad. So that brings us to the next point, which is how you see that challenge and breaking it down into manageable or a manageable size. Don't allow it to get you overwhelmed, because if you look at it all like a big mountain, it will be difficult to tackle. It will be difficult to manage. Now, what do I need to do is break it down. What are the things that I can do? What are the things that are in my control to begin with? Those things that are within your control, you start to action them. You start to tick the box and just do those things. And that when you begin to do those things, you begin to feel better towards how the size of the challenge or the magnitude of the challenge. The ones you're not able to do by yourself, okay, what are ways that I can seek resource to action this or to solve this challenge? And then you begin to think about creative ways of doing this rather than having to look at it all together, because that brings a feeling where you become overwhelmed and you feel that it is almost impossible to tackle that challenge. Let me state that there's no challenge, absolutely no challenge that is impossible to tackle. It's all down to your state of mind.
I think looking at it from another angle, it also depends on the kind of challenge. For instance, if you are looking at financial challenge, you're in debt, you know that this is becoming very overwhelming. Break it down. How do I come out of this debt? How much can I pay per time? How can I, work towards getting out of it? So action is really, really important. It's really, really important. Maybe you've lost your job or you want to move jobs and it's becoming overwhelming. You don't like the job where you're in. It's stressful. What is your plan? What is your game plan? How do you move away from that job to another job? Maybe there's a skill gap that you need to fill, soft skill, or any other skill that you need to get the right job you're looking for. You have to work on those. Like you said, break it down into smaller parts. Maybe if it's a challenge that has to do with relationship, it's within or outside your circle of influence. What do? Work on yourself.
Absolutely.
Have a plan, smaller plans that will come or make up a bigger plan. I'm sure when you do that, you will see that big challenge, that big issue is now manageable.
Yeah.
It's now, I would like to say, workable. It's something you can
manage.
overcome.
Yeah, I like to use the word demystify. Just demystify whatever that challenge is. Demystify it, because sometimes people have these labels, they have these names, and they make it look like, wow, this is so impossible for me to navigate. If you demystify, just break it down. Look, we've always had a place where it feels like we're stuck in a hole. It feels like we cannot get out of it. It feels like, oh my God, the world is closing in on me. But it is about how you begin to action those things bit by bit.
The other point we want to make is that there are times you alone cannot deal with this challenge. You've tried. It's like someone in a pit, you're trying to come out, you try to jump out, you're not jumping out. You try to crawl out, you're not crawling out. What do?
Help.
You need help. Maybe there's someone out there who can just give you a ladder and you climb through the ladder, or send you a rope, you just climb and you're out. That brings us to the next point, which is seek support. Seek support from family, seek support from friends, seek support from professionals, seek support from people who would help you navigate this challenge. If you're battered in your relationship, you need help. If you're going through financial difficulty, you need financial advice. Whatever issue you're dealing with, it could be mental health issue. You're feeling down and out, lonely, like the world is all against you. Reach out to someone. Just a conversation with a friend or a family or professional could be all that will change your mindset and change your life forever. I've been there before, where I felt this problem is the worst problem anyone could face. And I had a conversation with another friend of mine who had gone through
The same.
not even the same, worst problem than I was facing at the time. And she said to me, come on, what you're going through is even nothing compared to what I've gone through. And she shared her experience with me, and that was all. That was all I needed to have this resilience, this positivity. If she could go through that, I can go through this. And today I'll tell you, I went through it and I am okay. So reach out to friends. You can actually reach out to us if you think we'll be of help to you.
Absolutely. And let me say that, let me just speak to some of the women in the room. If you're a woman, say hi. Now, let me speak to us women. Sometimes we feel we are superwoman, we are superhumans. We don't need help, we don't need support, we can multitask, we can do everything all by ourselves. It's okay to feel that way, it's okay to feel empowered. But there are things that we must understand that we cannot do for ourselves. And it's okay to ask for help. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. Sometimes people feel when I ask for help, it's a sign of weakness. It's not a sign of weakness. It's not a sign that you're struggling. It's okay to ask for help. Your life will be way much better if you ask for help. Think about the people around you, the network that you have. There is a saying that says your network determines your net worth. Think about the people you have. We can be so rich of people around us and we don't even realize how rich we are. So tap into that network. There are people who have been gifted in areas and places that you are not gifted in. Please ask for their help. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to be vulnerable, and seek help and get out of there, because we don't all know it all. And that's why we have to coexist together. We need to support ourselves together. We don't need to beat down the other person or tear the other person down. And you don't have to feel guilty asking for help or feel that you're weak and then you don't want to even ask for help. And what that does is that you wallow in silence and nobody knows you're struggling, and what happens is your problem is not solved.
Yeah, the other thing is that sometimes our challenges are as a result of our unrealistic expectations or the goals we have set that are too unrealistic, and because we've not achieved those goals, we feel overwhelmed. Take for instance, you've set a financial goal, family goal that you cannot meet, and because you've not met it, you have this emotional distress because you feel overwhelmed, you feel you're not able to accomplish your goals, and you've also made plans on how one goal leads to another goal, all tied together, and because one goal did not come through, everything is gone and you're feeling worse off. And I want to say to you, set realistic goals. Look at your environment, look at where you are, look at where you want to get to, and look at what capacity you have at the moment to get you to that point. It's like planning to build a skyscraper when your income is just 500k, depending on the currency you use. You need to save for many years to be able to do that. Or if you make a plan to do that in a year and you don't have the resources, you feel bad with yourself. You distress for nothing. Therefore, set realistic goals. Set realistic goals in terms of how you would also overcome your challenges.
And let me say, just to add to what you said, you're not in competition with anyone. We say life is a race, but think about you competing with yourself. Don't compete with anyone, because sometimes those unrealistic expectations is as a result of what's this other person doing and what am I doing, and you're trying to compare what you're doing currently with what someone else is doing. You know, your life is different, your journey is totally different. What you've been tasked, what you've been wired to put, you've been put here in this world to do, totally different from the other person. And it's okay not to pressure yourself, you know, and understand that you got your own journey. You have to own your own journey and, you know, set your goals, set your plans, work with it, run with it. In God's time, things will happen. So do not pressure yourself. And I think this is why people set a lot of unrealistic expectations for themselves, because they feel that they are running a race against time or against others. No, if there's anyone to compete with yourself, not with someone else.
Definitely. And I also want to say that in all of this, there are times you get to a point where you know there is nothing you can do to overcome this challenge. What do? Take life one day at a time. I always say this to people. Take life one day at a time. So much to do on the job, so much to deal with. Sleep today. Tomorrow will take care of itself. Don't think about all the problems you have for the rest of the year in one day. It's going to overwhelm you. Think about it bit by bit. That way, you're not carrying the weight of the world on your shoulder. And I will say to you, take care of your mental health, take care of your physical health. If you overthink things, if you are anxious about everything, such that you can't even have a night's rest, you're sleeping but you're awake because your mind is all over the place, you are not doing yourself a favor. And once you start having heart issues, stress, overwhelming stress, and all of those, it will impact on your well-being. It will impact on your mental well-being, physical well-being, social, emotional, and even your spiritual well-being. At that point, you can't even communicate with your God. I'll say to you, engage in activities that will make you happy. Play music, dance, be your own fan, have fun, find a way to enjoy life. You only have one life to live.
Absolutely.
If you drop dead, life goes on, people will still move on.
Yeah, a songwriter once wrote a song and she says, live every moment as though it were your last. You know, a lot of times we focus on activities or events for the next day, but we are not even focused on the moment. We're not focused on our now. And you know what? It's about you just taking a chill pill, pause. Just enjoy now. You've got life. You're guaranteed today. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. At least you are alive now. What are you doing with the life that you have? Do not get stressed out about tomorrow that you've not even seen yet. But you're in today, and you've not even taken opportunity to harness everything that today has given to you.
Yeah.
I think it's unfair. I think it's unfair, and I think people overreach when they want to think about tomorrow without actually staying focused on today.
Very important point there. And I also want to add, learn from your past. Learn from the past experiences you've had. Sometimes I do this. I'm faced with things and I tell myself, if I was able to deal with tough times in the past, I can do this. And that is the same with you. Everyone on this earth would have faced one challenge or the other. Have you been able to overcome them in the past? If yes is your answer, then learn the approaches or whatever helped you to navigate those problems in the past and see if they will work for you now. If you could do it before, you can do it again.
The next point that I want to really talk about, because I think this is really, really important, is maintaining a positive, a healthy support system. I think this links to the point we made earlier, but you have to be conscious about it. You know, look at your support system, look at the people around you. Just surround yourself with people who would help you, support you to navigate the challenging seasons of your life. Not just to navigate the season, because it's as if you only need people to navigate the season, but also people who would help celebrate you in your high moments. They're just people, they're just they're just there. They're just there to support you. They're there to encourage you. They're there to uplift you. So connect with individuals that also have faced similar things that you are currently facing. And it's okay. Ask for help. How did you go on overcome that? What was it like when you were going through that season? What did you do that helped you in that season? I think this is really important that we embed ourselves in a support system because they can offer some guidance on how we navigate it. I want to say that, sometimes people feel that, in life, what we need is money. And I'm not saying that money is not important. Money is important. But let me just say that one of the things that people have, but they don't value, they don't treasure, they're not intentional about maintaining is relationships. Quality relationship. Oh my goodness. You can be so rich, but if you have no quality relationship, trust me that there's a lot that is lacking, and you never know how much you can benefit if you've got quality relationship. So I'd say, try and seek out quality relationship. Try and seek out those relationships that will uplift you and maintain those relationships, flourish those relationships. Try to be intentional about how you harness those relationships.
Adding to the valid point you made, I can also say, don't just be there to receive. Be in that relationship to give. Be in that relationship to use your experience to encourage someone else. By the time you're open to share, open to give, open to support someone else, you would realize that your problem diminishes. It is how life is. Givers would always have a way of receiving. By the time you give, you help someone, you encourage someone, you go out of your way to support someone else, naturally, your challenges will diminish. And finally, we want to say to you, you might do all of this and still stay where you are and still face those challenges. One thing you must do is to trust God in all of this. Trust God to be faithful to take you through whatever you're going through. You can try by your own strength, try by your own ability, but then there is God who can enable you. When God empowers you and helps you to go through your life experience, at the end of the day, you see that whatever you've gone through is actually for your best.
Absolutely.
Because in the process of going through, you become the best that you're supposed to be.
Yeah. I have a popular saying, trust God even when you cannot trace him, because God is always there. He's always there. And when everything else have failed, God is consistent and God doesn't fail. And maybe this might be an encouragement to someone out there and you feel abandoned, you feel like the doors of this world are shut in your face. Because I understand how challenging recent economic times are, and I'm just being sensitive because I know that some people are finding it so challenging to navigate life right now. At the moment, some people are like literally are in a state of I don't know what to do. You know what, if you're in that state, and you genuinely reach out to God, God is always there. He's never left. He's never left. Even when you felt that he wasn't there in the storm, or he's not there in all of the situation happening right now, trust me, God is there. All he needs is for you to turn your attention to him, and you will just realize that he's such a loving father and he's just waiting for you to reach out.
Yes, trust God even when you cannot trust him. Don't be angry with God. What you're going through is not unique to you. It doesn't also mean that God has abandoned you. It doesn't also mean that it is because of what you've done in the past. Maybe this is life catching up with you.
Yeah.
Maybe this consequence of all of this. No, that is not the case. Go through it, and at the end of the day, you will have this as an evidence to say, God is actually faithful. We've been there before. We know what it feels like to be married and you're trusting God for something. 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, it's not happening. And when it happened, we realized that actually it was all part of it to make us who we are. And today we are stronger for it.
Yeah.
Trust me, you will be stronger for whatever you're going through.
Wow. I don't know if this has been encouraging to you, and please just let us know if you've been encouraged by this word, because we just felt the need to share this word with someone out there. Just let us know how you feel about this. And we're just trusting that whatever situation, if you're watching us right now, you're going through stuff, whatever it is, we're praying that God will definitely show up in that right moment for you. And you would realize that you're not alone in all of this. Thank you so much for watching right up to this point. And until the next time, it's goodbye from us.